What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Jalen Hurts, quarterback out of Oklahoma. He has declared for the NFL draft, and he is also going to be in the Senior Bowl, I believe. And so we'll be taking a look at. I'll be looking at his Senior Bowl footage. These videos aren't my final. This is me giving my opinions on where their talent level's at currently, but not necessarily where I think they'll be drafted. I'll probably have do a list or something like that later. Because I haven't even looked at that many other positions, so I got to see where the position value at other positions is. So, But anyway, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to be looking at some of his stats, and then we'll get into his game against Baylor. Now, like I mentioned before, I do watch way more games of footage than just the one that I actually show you. But if I showed you every game I end up watching, we'd be here for hours, and I'm not doing that. I'm not editing that long of a video, so yeah. So getting into his stats, passing, and obviously you guys all know his story. He's the transfer from Bama. I'm not going to get into that. Just going to look at his Oklahoma. But 3,851 yards passing, 8 picks to 32 touchdowns. Now that looks pretty, and his rushing, almost 1,300 yards, rushing with 20 touchdowns. And that does look really good, and it is good. But one thing to remember is that his the conference that he's playing in, the Big 12, they don't know how to play defense. The Big 12's defenses suck. I feel like they must be allergic to defensive players or some shit. But yeah, so keep that in mind when you're looking at his numbers. And also, there is something else that I have to point out. And I don't even usually look at stats too much while I'm watching film. I usually do it after. But I had to look at it during because I kept seeing this problem come up during the film. He has a bad fumbling problem, and that's really bad for a mobile quarterback because that's like his bread and butter. His passing game isn't really that great to me, but where he really makes his money is on the ground, and if that's going to be the case, you cannot be fumbling 25 times in 4 years. And it's really 3 because he barely played in 2018. So that can't happen. It just can't. I mean, 8 fumbles just this year. That's bad. That's really bad. So yeah. With that, let's just go ahead and get into the film. I got some timestamps next to me, too, so we can get through this. I'm not going to show this whole game. I'm only going to be showing 7 plays. Yeah. Right off the bat, we're going to show off some of his mobility, because that's where he really makes his money. Right there, it just shows he is very athletic. He is very athletic for a quarterback. But if you notice, that's not like Lamar Jackson type of mobility. Because I know people are like trying to make that comparison, and just don't do it. I know that Baltimore had a very explosive offense with Lamar Jackson. But there's a big difference between Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson has a stronger arm than Jalen Hurts. He's more accurate than Jalen Hurts. Like out of college, the one thing that you could say about him is that he wasn't consistently accurate, but you could see that his throwing mechanics were kind of bad. So that might sound like a bad thing, and it is. But the good thing about him having bad mechanics is that you can teach him better mechanics to make him more accurate. But if you're a quarterback that has good mechanics and is still inaccurate, then that's going to be a whole lot more coaching that needs to be done. And also, as far as athleticism goes, Jalen Hurts isn't even close. Because Jalen Hurts is athletic for a quarterback. Lamar Jackson is when he steps onto a football field, he's one of the fastest people on that field, regardless of position. So, yeah. It's not the same thing. And actually, the next play on the timestamp is actually the very next play. Now, right there, that kind of shows his arm strength a little bit. It's not great. It's not bad. His arm strength is not bad. I don't want to paint it that way. But it's not like he has this cannon that Lamar kind of had. It's kind of average to me. And also, I mean, I was mentioning mechanics earlier. His mechanics aren't great really either. If you look at his legs, they're kind of thin. I feel like if he would have had a wider base, he might have been able to put some more power to this throw. That is something he could improve on as well. But yeah. Let me move on to the next timestamp. Little read option here. That really just shows his athleticism. He broke through arm tackle. You're going to actually need to wrap this guy up. You're not going to be able to arm tackle him because he actually does have a little bit of power to him too. But yeah, like I said, he's very athletic. He can make you miss a little bit. He can run you over a little bit. But like I said, it is a little bit deceptive because, Big 12. Their defenses suck. But, and to be fair, don't think when I say that, don't think I'm trying to be harsh on Jalen Hurts. I said the same thing about Kyler Murray last year with the Big 12 defenses. So, yeah. Also, not comparing him to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is much more accurate, better arm, and more athletic. Yeah, 3:48 is the next timestamp. Okay, that works. This shows his decision making a little bit because this is something that really needs to be improved as well. He kind of threw this ball into very tight coverage, and I'm not a fan. Ends up getting picked off. And he only has 8 picks, but there are so many throws that I've seen him make that should have been picked and will be picked in the NFL. That's not a decision that you're allowed to make in the NFL. You just can't do that. So that needs to be improved on for sure. 5:20. I'm not saying fair enough. This is a solid throw I did find from him though. Nice little back shoulder touch throw. Like I said, he has made some good throws. I'm not going to say he hasn't. He does show some potential, but I think he does need some development for sure. I don't think he's ready to be an NFL starter right now at all. I mentioned it before with the numbers. I just want to show you the fumbles. It's just one, and I think he actually recovered it. I think Jalen Hurts actually fell on that ball, but he still put it on the ground, and that can't happen, man. That's something that has to be cleaned up no matter what. 7, okay. This is actually the last play I'm actually going to show you guys, and then I'm going to get into my overall thoughts on him. I mentioned that he actually has some power to him. That's a pretty good example right there. Actually, that's a good look at the fumble, but just kind of ran this kid over. But yeah, that's actually all I got really as far as film goes. But just my overall thoughts. To me, he is a running quarterback, not a quarterback that can run. And unfortunately, he doesn't really have the athleticism to really get away with it. At least not on the NFL level. I mean, it works in college. I mean, like, look at someone like Tim Tebow. I'm not calling him Tim Tebow, though, because he is a much better passer than Tebow. Don't get it twisted. But look at people like Tebow who, that they couldn't throw that well, and they really didn't succeed that long in the NFL. I mentioned the Lamar Jackson comparison to that's not a situation that's realistic. Like I said, his arm strength is pretty average. Accuracy is very lacking. Decision making has to improve. He holds the ball a little bit too long sometimes, but that kind of just comes with having a mobile quarterback. You kind of just have to take that trade-off sometimes. I feel like he's going to make so many plays with his feet that sometimes he is going to hold the ball a little bit too long and get sacked for it. That's just a trade-off you're going to have to deal with. He does have a tendency to, like, sometimes if he gets stuck or if his first read isn't there, he'll just put his eyes down and run. And I think that's going to be a problem in the league. I think he's going to get hit a lot doing that. Mechanics are pretty much just okay. I think he needs to spread out his base a little bit more. I think he'd give himself some more power and accuracy. Use his whole body. I mentioned the Big 12 multiple times. Yeah, also, two more things. One of them is the fact that because of his athleticism and his questions about his actual ability to throw and make decisions, he probably is going to be asked to switch positions. I'm not saying that he should. I'm just saying that someone is probably going to ask him around combine time. Whether he should or not, I don't know. That's his decision. I don't know what position he would play. I wouldn't put him on offense. Like, if you're going to change his position, I wouldn't. I'd let him play quarterback, and I would put, like, if he goes to the right team, you might be able to develop him. You can maybe fix some of his fumbling problems, maybe fix his mechanics, his decision making. Might be able to work with him a little bit under the right system. But, like, do you really want to put someone with 25 fumbles at running back? I don't. Or receiver, really. Maybe DB. I don't think he's fast enough to be a corner. Maybe a box safety. I don't know. I don't think he's athletic enough. And he's not big enough to play like linebacker or something like that. So I wouldn't change positions if I were him. I don't think there's another position that really fits him. I think he needs to stick to his guns a little bit and just work on being a better quarterback. I think that's what he needs to focus on. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.